Martinov. They crash in the near corner. Now behind the net came loose. Here's Goulet out to the line. Chelios. Here it comes. Tip. Cheveldain, the save, rebound. Kicked that. Goulet off the goal post. Then the rebound. It hit Cheveldain. Didn't even know where it was. They still hack. McCreary has lost sight of it. The whistle has sounded, and the Blackhawks just came within an inch twice of scoring.
Well, Goulet thought he had scored. So did Steve Larmer, thinking he had scored. Man, you can't get any closer than this. McCreary loses sight. Groening, second effort. Goulet out to the Chelios at the point. He lets it go. The puck is on edge. It hits Primo. Changes directions. Cheveldain makes the save. Swats at it. Kicked at by Larmer. Then Goulet takes it, thinking he had scored. Hits the post. It comes across the line. The other side. He puts his arms up. It doesn't go across the line. And then Larmer, while he was down, had a whack at it, and it didn't quite get to the post. We'll take a look at it from behind the net. Cheveldain makes the save. Larmer kicks at it. Goulet hits it off the post and out the other side, parallel to the goal line, an inch from the goal line, and stays out.
Perfect positioning by Bill McCreary to make that call. And on 2 occasions, the Hawks come within an inch of taking the lead in this very late stage of the third period. Face-off will be to the right of Tim Cheveldain, the owner of the Red Wings, Mike Ilitch, hoping beyond hope that he can see another playoff game for his team back in Joe Louis Arena. Sutter and Fedorov ready. Here's the draw to the wings. Isabard hoisting it to the Hawk line. Ryan Noonan lost the handle. Back of the Hawk net it goes. Chelios. Heard it to an open wing. It's held in by McCrimmon. Here's his long shot. Belfour stopped it and gave no rebound. And Hawks would like to get reorganized after getting a little out of position in that sequence.
Well, had possession and time on the far side, but Brian Noonan with a soft little deflection to try and get Sutter the puck, and it was intercepted. You got to be a little stronger than that in this type of a situation.
Two minutes and 20 seconds left. The face-off will be to the left of Belfour. All of these coaches look so calm behind the bench. I wonder what's going on in the pits of their stomachs. Imagine the guts are churning. Here's a long shot from Racine. Belfour gave a rebound. Primo, and he stopped him. Keith Primo had the rebound chance, and at Belfour with 2 more saves to add to his total.
Steve Larmer had a blowout in the corner in his attempt to get to the puck. He fell down and went to the point. The rebound from Racine's shot right to Primo in the slot. Primo didn't get much on it, but still a tough save for Belfour. Cameras everywhere in this building. Shot from behind Ed Belfour this time, showing Belfour's position to make the rebound save.
Now the draw in the Chicago zone. A toe on the near side. Failed to clear it. Shepard. Bounce one into the corner. Primo knocked down there. Belfour will hold it again. A couple of times here in the last few shifts. Chicago with some difficulty coming out of their own zone.
The youngster Primo having a good, solid shift, creating a scoring chance and forcing a turnover. Red Wings desperate. They need to score to keep the series alive, down 3 games to nothing in a 0-0 game with just under 2 minutes left here in the third.
And Fedorov and Sutter will get ready to the left of Belfour. Here's the draw to chase on his long shot, and Belfour never saw it, but it deflected up high, and out comes Graham. Graham dumping it in, hoping for Gilbert. He's well covered though by Isabard, and Paul Eisebart tied up. Gilbert stole it. And they wrestle along the corner boards. Then Gilbert came out of there with it. A diving poke check in the net. They score! Brent Sutter picked up a loose puck and scooped a backhander in. 1:34 to go. And the Blackhawks are on the verge of getting rid of the Red Wings. It's just 1-0 Hawks.
A dump in into the corner. Greg Gilbert gets in there and ties it up. And then the Red Wings pried the puck loose. They had possession. Now when they're going to carry the puck out, Racine and Fedorov, I believe, was going to pull away with it, but it hit his own player, Eisebart. Gilbert's second effort hacked at it. It was swept at by the defenseman, and right out front to Brent Sutter, who shoveled a backhander past Cheveldae. So two situations because of Greg Gilbert's work creating the turnover. First, Fedorov loses possession when the puck hit Eisebart's skate. Then a diving defenseman, Chason, I believe it was, tried to hook it away from Gilbert. He did hook it right out front to Brent Sutter, and he put the backhander past a sprawl, Tim Cheveldae. So Greg Gilbert's second effort after the Red Wings cough it up gives the Blackhawks the first goal of the game and a minute and a half remaining. The Hawks can't be celebrating too much, though. The Red Wings still have the ability. They will look to pull the goaltender, and they've done good work with faceoffs lately. It's a long way from over.
98th playoff game for Brent Sutter. That's his 26th career goal. And the doggedly determined effort of Greg Gilbert is what kept that play alive. There's a dump in that Graham was hoping Gilbert would get to. He was well covered. Eisebart beat him to it. But Gilbert would not be denied. He just persevered. And after fending off two checkers in the corner, poked that puck loose in front of the net. And Greg Gilbert with a huge assist on the goal by Brent Sutter. Dirk Graham also assisting at 18:26. And the Blackhawks are a minute and a half away from advancing to the Final Four.
And this is a very big face-off. Hawks have to keep the momentum here, not allow the Red Wings to get it in deep.
Here is the draw to Detroit. McCrimmon does just that. He gets it in. Cheveldae had thoughts of going off, but he stays on. Held in by Lidstrom. Long backhander bouncing in the slot. Smith put it to the corner. Graham has it there. Dirk Graham kicked it loose. Chelios reversing it to the near side. Steve Smith unable to get it out. Over to the far corner. There goes Cheveldae. 6 attackers for the Red Wings. Graham in the Hawk zone, wrestling along the far side. They battle away on the board. 1 minute left. Here's Sutter digging it out to Gilbert. Gilbert moves to center, tied up by McCrimmon. Didn't have a chance to go for the empty netter. And the Red Wings with 6 attackers. Here's a steal by Chelios. Here's Chelios clearing it into the Red Wing zone. 40 seconds to go. Roenick crashing in on Lidstrom. Here's now Mateau in there. They wrestle in the Red Wing zone. Roenick wants a face-off if he can get it. They continue to hack at it, and Roenick took about 15 seconds off the clock with that good bit of work. Now the Wings have it, but they're down to 20 seconds. They can't get out of their own zone. Here's McCrimmon. He's forced to turn. The Hawks forechecking unbelievable. The crowd is on their feet. 12 seconds left. Now they have to just flip it to center. Larmer picked it off there. He's knocked down on top of the puck. 8.2 left.
Unbelievable work by the Blackhawks. First to get the puck out of their own zone. Secondly, once they did get it in deep, great forechecking, tremendous work. First by Roenick, then Mateau to be a little bit behind him, and then Steve Larmer, the third guy, the safety valve, and the Red Wings were frustrated and couldn't get back out. And Jim Belushi throws out the broom. The Red Wings have the octopus, and the Blackhawks throw out the broom.
And now it appears that Brian Murray wants his timeout.
Well, we talked about the great play of the veteran line that was employed in the third period with Gilbert, Sutter, and Graham. They were determined throughout this third period. They played it smart. They forechecked extremely well. They always had one guy back. They never got caught, and they even stymied the Red Wing attack. They end up scoring the leading goal. And then Ed Belfour's brilliant goaltending throughout the second and here in the third keeping it a 0-0 game, enabling the Blackhawks to put the pressure on the Red Wings. And finally, with 8 seconds left, a face-off at the red line, and the Red Wings are going to try and spring someone loose on the near side with the face-off just at the left circle of the center ice face-off area.
Shepard is trying to hide along the boards here on the near side. But Steve Smith knows he's there. Here's the draw. Shot toward the empty net by Sutter. It goes wide. Ed Belfour has never had a playoff shutout until now. Hawks win. Hawks win. They're into the Final Four for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. A 1-0 shutout of the Norris Division regular season champs. And the Hawks have gotten rid of Detroit in 4 straight.
A shocker, Pat. What an upset. The Red Wings first in the Norris Division. A talented team come from behind to beat Minnesota. Everyone thought this series would go 6 or 7 games. Every game would go to the wire. But the Blackhawks won the first one after the much-needed rest. And they just surprised them in Game 2. Held on to win in Game 3. And would not be denied in Game 4 because of Ed Belfour. It's a nice rhyme.
Almost a shame somebody had to lose this game. Ed Belfour, brilliant. So was Tim Cheveldae. He certainly could have had a better fate with the terrific work he put together. Steve Yzerman being congratulated and consoled. And a very difficult pill to swallow for the Red Wing captain. Hey, let's hear from Mike Keenan. Darren Pang's with him.
Okay, thank you very much, Pat. And Mike, you finally got it done. You beat the Red Wings and you're on to the finals in the conference, in the Campbell Conference.
Well, the Final Four is a big accomplishment against this hockey club. It's a great hockey club. They played. They just couldn't get their offense going, and I think they're a little tired after the Minnesota comeback.
Outstanding effort by Ed Belfour.
You have to have that kind of goaltending in playoff hockey to be successful. And we had the playoff hockey goaltender tonight. There's no question about it. They outplayed us early in the game. He kept us in there and did the job for us.
Well, listen, Mike, thank you very much for joining us, and go have a good time, have a smile, and have a go. Thank you very much. Now let's go back upstairs to Pat and Dale. It's all set here.
Hey, Darren, Bob McGill hugging his former teammate Jeremy Roenick. Anybody who's played with that kid has come to love him. And a very emotional time as Roenick heads jubilantly to the Hawk dressing room. And just a few more handshakes will be exchanged. Bob McGill was very well liked and respected when he played here. The Hawks didn't want to lose him. And he's the last Red Wing to congratulate his former teammates. And Lemieux, and then finally Belfour get the words of encouragement from Bobby Mack. And Ed Belfour will get a little bit of a roar as he heads off.
I need a broom, Pat. Wait on here. I'm going to climb down and pick one up.
7 straight victories for the Chicago Blackhawks in this year's playoffs as they continue to add to their team record for straight wins in the postseason. 1-0 in a thrilling nail-biter of a game that went right down to the wire, with the Hawks not scoring that one goal until only a minute and a half remained. And they did it in the type of fashion that they used to beat the Blues in round 1, and now the Red Wings here in round 2. Brent Sutter got the goal from Gilbert and Graham at 18-26. The Hawks had 15 shots in the third, the Red Wings 10. 33 Chicago shots, 29 Detroit shots for the final totals. And downstairs we have a fairly happy Chicago Blackhawk. Let's hear from the guy that got the winner. Here's Pop Sutter.
Thank you very much, Pat. Pretty exciting down here, guys, in the bowels of the stadium. Brent, congratulations, outstanding goal. Maybe you can go through the emotions of this club right now as you sweep the Detroit Red Wings 4-0.
Well, I think if someone would have said at the start of the series that you know, it was going to be a 4-game sweep, you know, we would have said they were crazy, because we knew Detroit had a great hockey team, and the games are very close, and we just stuck with it, hung in tough, and we didn't get too far ahead of ourselves, and we took it 1 game at a time, and it paid off. You
know, it's an old cliche, that 1 game at a time, but I've never been so impressed with the Blackhawks' demeanor in the locker room, really keeping things on an even keel.
Well, I think it's very important. You know, you can only look at the past as something to, you know, to work on, or something to, you know, just go ahead with, and for confidence-wise and stuff like that. And tonight was the immediate future, and we just put our minds on tonight. We just hung in tough, and we knew it would be a low-scoring game, and we just paid off.
Brent, let's take a look at the goal, the game-winning goal, the goal that has given the Blackhawks this 1-0 victory and the sweep. Maybe you can describe it for us.
Dirk dumped it in, and Gibby went down, and you know, he did a great job, and it went around the boards, and Dirk and Gibby did a lot of the work here, and I just more or less stayed in the slot and waited for my chance, and the puck kind of popped loose there. It's coming up here, and you know, Gibby kind of got it back, and then I just went for the net, and you know, Gibby made a great second effort and tried to sweep it out, and I just kept going to the net. So
I was just saying that what a great backhander. You don't often see backhand goals in the NHL. Something you've been working on?
Old-time hockey.
Old-time hockey. I think when you see that the reaction of the bench, Brent, this absolutely says it all right here on the screen right now. The guys obviously very excited.
Well, we are. I mean, it's you know, it's quite a thing to be able to get out of your vision, but we still got a lot of work ahead of us, and you know, again, we're just taking a game at a time in playoffs, and we know you know, we got 8 games left here to win.
Here's a little bit of a souvenir you got here, Puppy. Looks like it says Norris Division Champs of 1992. Welcome to Chicago, partner.
Thank you. It's great.
Listen, I think we've just about done it here. Why don't you go back into the locker room? I'm sure you got a lot to celebrate. Appreciate you taking your time, Brent. Thank you very much for joining us. Now let's move it on over upstairs to our good friends Pat Foley and Dale Talon.
All right, Darren, the Blackhawks have eliminated the 98-point Red Wings with 4 straight victories. They did so by allowing only 6 goals in the 4 games of this series. And Ed Belfour, as I mentioned, has never had a postseason shutout until tonight. This is there have been some times when he's had some team shutouts during regular season play. This was an Ed Belfour shutout. He was just brilliant.
He only had 5 shots in the first period, didn't have any work. The Red Wings seemed to get him ready, though. Late in the first period, they had a bit of a flurry in the last few seconds. He came out and had a brilliant second period because of the shorthanded situations. The Red Wings had some power play time. And then in the third period, the Red Wings came storming out, had some quality chances early. They had half a dozen chances in the first 5 minutes. Belfour made some terrific saves, a couple on Yzerman, one on Burr, and he was just continued to play great goaltending. It was the difference tonight. Cheveldae, you can't fault him. He was terrific. The Red Wings only scored 6 goals, yet they had every game went down to the wire, and it was just one of those situations. Great defense, great forechecking, overall great hard work by the Blackhawks. I think those 2 days off, beating St. Louis, had a big factor in this series. They snuck the first game after the Red Wings' emotional situation against the North Stars, and then they built on that first win. They got the first win and went in and surprised them in game 2.
Hard work, determination, and grit are just the way the winning goal should be described. Here we are with 1.5 minutes left.
Well, Dirk Graham gets the puck, not much pressure, and that's been pretty well the story of the series. The Red Wings never really seem to get a lot of pressure or sustained attack on the Blackhawks. They carried in the dump in. Gilbert hacks at it. Yzerman really was not too keen, and Paul Yzerman was the story in the series. He and a few other guys reluctant to go in the corner first. If he goes in the corner first, it's still it's an overtime game. But he let Gilbert beat him to the plate, and he was trying to look for the easy way out. Fedorov had it deflect off Yzerman's skate, then chase on with Gilbert pursuing the puck, swept it out front, and Sutter put it in. So it was forechecking, and just the grit and determination of the Blackhawks. Overall toughness, team toughness. Never mind fighting or all those extracurricular stuff. The Blackhawks are a very tough, gritty team. And that goal illustrated why the Blackhawks won the hockey game. Yzerman was reluctant to go in the corner, Pat, and that's basically what it is. And we talk about after the goal and the Hawks forechecking. They have 1 man in right here. Stefan Matteau is the second guy right here, circling into the corner like this. This was after it was a 1-0 game. Now the Blackhawks are going to have a 3rd guy, Steve Larmer, come in, and he's going to stop and he's going to survey the situation in here. The Red Wings have 2 guys standing still with their back not looking forward and standing still with 2 guys here. 1 guy ties up 2 guys. Let's roll the tape. Roenick just stopped the tape right here. Roenick is still in there. Matteau is in great position, and here's the 3rd guy, the safety valve. They got 3 guys in here, and the Red Wings have nowhere to go. The only chance they might have is to go around the boards here, but he's got his back and can't get much momentum on. So this is the key guy here. Larmer's in great position, but forechecking was the key for the Blackhawks' success throughout this whole series. And the Red Wings, with the goaltender gone, 6 men, and just outworked and outplayed by the Blackhawks. Tremendous forechecking, and that was pretty well the story of this series. And because Yzerman didn't go in the corner to take the hit, to make the play, the Red Wings are gone.
The absolute despair that this franchise experience 12 months ago now turns to jubilation 12 months later. The lessons learned were obviously very difficult in last year's playoffs. After 106 points, the Hawks gone in the first round. Now it's the Red Wings with a 98-point team that find themselves eliminated in the second round of this year's playoffs. A brand new look Hawk team, and we have to again mention something that we've talked about during this series as a big plus that the Hawks didn't have last year: composure.
Well, they had some guys with a lot of experience. They learned their lessons. Whoever played last year learned their lessons from what that debacle last year with 55 power plays against them, against Minnesota. That's why they lost. This year, it was Detroit that took the bad penalties. The Blackhawks whacked, harassed them, and backed off, turned the other cheek, and they won the series because of it.
There's a press conference going on downstairs, and a very happy Chicago coach is on in front of the microphones. Let's have a listen.
But we felt strongly about the people that we acquired. We felt very confident in the people that we acquired. We knew that they were playoff-type people, and because of our experience with them before and working with them before, and we just had to put our trust in them that they wouldn't let us down, and certainly they haven't. Well, Brent is an illustration of what I'm just talking about. He brings leadership ability to the club, that playoff pressure that he has been under before. He understands what it takes to get there. He can help the other club members because of his experience that goes along with certainly Steve Smith and what he brings to the Edmonton program, and Chris Chelios winning the Cup, and Greg Gilbert, the guys that were in on the play in the last portion. And then you've got leadership certainly with Graham and Larmer, and Roenick is learning, and many of the other younger players are learning Belfort play like a championship too. They've had some experience under their belt that they brought to the table for this playoff round, and also the last round we played against St. Louis, and it's invaluable, and it's a teaching part of the learning curve that you have to work through as an organization and as a group, and those people help accelerate that learning curve for us.
What was the bottom line in you winning this series?
Bottom line, I think, in us winning the series was defense. We played extremely well defensively, and they got a little bit more offense going tonight, but for the first 3 games, for the most part, our defense were able to shut down their offense, and that was the difference.
Mike, the record book
One question.
The record book shows it was a 4-0 sweep, but that was not a typical sweep series.
Well, there are no typical sweep series. There aren't any series that are easy to put any club, particular club like this that had a tremendous season. I don't want anyone to overlook that fact. We went through this experience a year ago. We had a tremendous season, got beat out in the first round. They had a tough battle against Minnesota. I think that hurt their club a little bit because of the energy, the mental energy expended, and the physical energy to come back from a 3-1 deficit is incredibly tough. But this league is so tough and so demanding in terms of competitiveness, and it was exemplified in the first round. We had 6 7-game series and 2 6-game series, and you can't say that they had a bad year because they got beat out in the playoffs. For 2 weeks' work, we happened to be a little fresher when we met them, and the games, as you indicated, were 1-goal games. It was a tough series and a tough playoff round.
Mike, looking back at it, though, are you surprised that you were able to sweep a team 4 games in a row that had won the division by as many points as they had?
You never look at an opponent in terms of sweeping or not sweeping them, being up 1 or down 1 or 2. You try to focus in on one game at a time, and it's a cliche, but that's the truth, and that's what you have to work through, and that's how you have to work in these situations. And again, I point to our hockey club, the team members, and the leadership of the group that were able to do that. Thanks very much. Our dressing room is open.
Well, we said he was happy. Take our word for it. I think he is. He doesn't often show it, but, you know, I think that bears something that we've talked about, bears out something we were talking about earlier. The even keel that this team, for the most part, seems to be on. We came back with these guys after they won 2 huge games on the road to start this series, and they got on the plane with a little bit of a smile, but sort of business as usual. And that's the way Mike Keenan, he was smiling right after he came down the stairs at the conclusion of the game. But now as it sinks in, they don't want to get too excited about it. They know they've got 8 more games that they want to win.
Well, they've, you know, it's a ladder. They've gotten 2 steps up the rung, and they've got 2 more to go. They've got to win 8 more hockey games, and that's basically what it's all about. They've won 8, and now they're going to get some valuable rest, and they're going to sit back and wait and see and let Edmonton and Vancouver beat each other up like Minnesota and Detroit did, and that's how it works. They really battled hard, and it was just one of those series. They've got some people that have won Stanley Cups. They know how to handle the pressure. Steve Smith being one, Chelios, Gilbert, Sutter, and I think the experience from last year when they won first overall, I think it had something to do with their success this year, because in St. Louis, they turned the other cheek. They didn't take stupid penalties. They didn't take stupid penalties in this series. They had good goaltending and great penalty killing, good solid defensive work, and they wouldn't be denied. They outworked the Red Wings, pure and simple. They outworked them in every facet of the game except the power play. But the Red Wing power play was a wash. So that's really what kept it going, and that's a tough season for the Red Wings. They had a great year, and they've got a talented team, but they just got outworked.
Defense wins in the playoffs. How about 6 goals against in 4 games? As far as the Hawks are concerned, it would be pretty tough for anybody to overcome that great defense and win. The Red Wings unable to do it. Here now is their coach and general manager Brian Murray facing the media.
Well, we didn't score any goals for him at all. We lose 2-1, 3-1, 1-0, and then 5-4 in another game. It's not very fair to the goaltender, and I don't think, and the disappointing part is that I don't think you can get better goaltending in playoffs than Tim Chevrolet gave us, and we didn't score any goals for him.
How difficult is this? You go, you win the regular season North Division title, you come in here in the second round and you get swept by a team that you pretty much manhandled in the regular season.
I don't know that we ever manhandled them. I think we played close games. We had a good record against them, but they were very competitive hockey games, and there were a couple of ties involved. We knew they'd be difficult. They're a little more experienced in a couple spots than we are, and they got real good defense that hung tough for them, played very well throughout. We weren't able to forecheck their defense nearly as well as they forechecked ours. It's difficult. It's very disappointing. We thought we'd have some shortcomings in a couple of areas, but we thought we'd score goals, and we didn't score any goals. That's the bottom line. I thought either Detroit Red Wings or the Chicago Blackhawks had a chance to win the Stanley Cup, whoever came out of this. I think we're comparable to any other team, any other division. I think if they play the way they did against us, they should have a great chance. Yeah, somewhat the same. There was a lot of, I was hoping it'd end up the same too. I thought we'd stretch it down. We had the Fedorov line out when I wanted near the end of the game, and I thought we'd stretch it and get into overtime, and the guys have seemed to play very confident at that time, and obviously it didn't happen, but it was a very similar type of game, and it shows what the breaks are all about in this business. If you get a bounce, you get a post, and you have a chance to win. We had the puck. We had good control of it. We took it behind our own net, walked into the corner. It would have been, I thought, a situation where we got jammed a little bit with some good pressure, but it was the type of thing we talked about a lot. Just flip the puck out of trouble if you have to. Ice the puck, throw it down the middle of the rink or throw it into the crowd. It didn't really matter. I think we tried to do one thing too many, and that was try to beat a guy, and the puck got turned over on the turmoil. Well, I thought Belfour played well. He didn't have as many tough stops as Chevrolet had. There's no question about that. I wish we'd have been testing him a little more often. We had him on his knees 3 or 4 times. Paul Eisebart on the pass from Fedorov. Fedorov at the end of the second period, he had him down, hit the crossbar. I don't know that Ed didn't make any mistakes, but I just say I don't think he had the type of series that Chevrolet had, even though he was a winning goaltender.
How would you assess the season?
It's a great season until the playoffs started. Well, what happened in the middle, you look back and you have home ice advantage. You don't have any time off. You go into the first game and you lose at home, and not a very, very highly motivated team at that night. Chicago were really prepped for it, and that set the tone for the series. Certainly, in hindsight, you look at it and you wish you had the emotion that we had in Game 4 or Game 3 and Game 4 to start with. If we'd had, I think it would have been quite different, probably mentally as well as physically. No, I like the base or the nucleus of the team. I think we have some talent. I think we have a chance to score some goals. There are some things that we will have to address over the summer, obviously, but I think we've got the start of a pretty good hockey club in Detroit. Oh, I thought our defensive philosophy was real good too. I have no qualms about the way our team played defense in this series. You lose 2-1, you lose 3-1. We get behind in the third game by 2 twice. We come back and then they get a big play from the point to score the winning goal. We played great defense tonight. I thought we played really well. I don't think we were quite as mobile back there in a couple of spots as I'd like to be someday, but I thought we played very hard in that area. I thought our forwards were much more responsible tonight than they were in a previous game, and we just didn't get the goals. We have people that have better hands than they showed in the playoffs, throughout the whole playoffs, not just in this series. Oh, I think it's a combination of both. I think it's experience played a part in this. I think the quality of defensemen that Chelios and Smith were played a big part in it. I think the work ethic of Lemieux and Graham and Brent Sutter and people like that set a tone for their hockey team. But I like our team because I think we have a real bright future with a lot of young players that certainly should improve and should handle the pressure the next time a touch better.
Well, obviously that has to be a very empty feeling for the coach and GM of the Red Wings, Brian Murray, after, as he accurately described, a very outstanding regular season. They go down, and now they are out of the playoffs, being swept by the Blackhawks, scoring only 6 goals in 4 games. And you certainly can't overlook the great work that they put forth in the regular season. I think he's right. This Red Wing team does have a very good future, but they're going to have to wait to taste the success.
Well, it's a long grind, and Murray's never won a second round. He had great coaching numbers with Washington, and he's really done a marvelous job of rebuilding this Detroit club. Last year they were the most improved team from the year before, and they even improved that much more this year. And I imagine that a guy like, we saw a youngster like Primo have a really solid game tonight in a very critical game. He's a future player for them, and Chevalier really is a young guy, and Lidstrom and other guys. So they have a very talented team, but they do have some players that need to toughen up, or they're going to probably make some trades to get some more guys like Lemieux and the Blackhawks type of player that you can have so much talent, but you also have to have those other guys, those grinders, that do the work in the corners and in the forechecking roles, and that was the difference, I think, in the series.
Also a difference in the series, as Brian Murray talked about, the fact the Red Wings had to go 7 in the first round, getting no break, and then coming right back 2 nights later to be beaten on home ice by the Chicago Blackhawks. And now the Hawks have an even better situation as far as that's concerned. They can sit back. They do not have an assignment again now until a week from tomorrow. Next Saturday will be the opening of the Campbell Conference Finals, and they'll just sit back and hope that Edmonton and Vancouver beat up on each other for probably 6 or 7 games, and they'll await the outcome of that series. But this is a very